Okay. I mean, we do have some room in the aisles over here, so if you want to fill in the aisle, you can. That'd be great. So anyway, so this kid here standing in front of you is really passionate about flipping the class, mainly because one of the reasons why I love that concept, I love the old technology, I love tablet technology, that kind of stuff, is because when growing up, I was disadvantaged. I had problems in school. I was first off, I was made in Taiwan, and and I was exported. Thank you. I was exported at a tender age of 2, when like anything right then, say they're good to export then, and coming over here, like my parents opened up a Chinese restaurant, like all of Chinese people down to this country. So I grew up in a restaurant environment, and that's where I spend most of my time growing up. But one of the problems with coming over here and being in that environment is that I'm also considered ESL, or English as a Second Language. So because of that, I actually grew up with reading deficiencies. How's the light coming in? I feel like I'm being glowing. Okay. Yeah. So I had learning deficiencies. I had reading problems. I went through all of high school without being able to read a book, because I look at the book and I was like, I couldn't comprehend the words as well. Since I was ESL, I didn't understand the language as well. I had to spend 2 years to go through like a speech class to be able to speak English properly. I think they did a great job at that, don't they? Yeah. But it left me scarred because I had a comprehension error problem with the written text. And all that. And also on top of that, being in a Chinese restaurant, we didn't have a whole lot of money, and I also have a problem with ADHD, if you can't tell already. And the reason is because, like, the good thing with being poor is that my parents were so poor, they can send me to a psychiatrist to fix the problem, right? So I had to learn to cope with it, right? I had to go through high school with attention problems. I was a B average student. I actually failed the math class. And for a Chinese person, that is completely unheard of. Math, Chinese, come on, it should be national. The problem was that I was in an education system where everybody was trying to funnel everyone through a narrow path, through a path where this is the way it is. If you're not part of it, then you're going to be left behind. And that's the way the system was back then. Why I'm so passionate about it now is because with technology, we're actually able to reach kids who have my problem back then. And it's rampant nowadays. So now everybody's dealing with people like me. And the beauty of that is that technology can reach them. Technology is the way. So I grew up, I love video games, I played video games, they held my attention, I was able to do lots of things with that. And then I also was able to go into computers, gravitate toward building computers, programming, and then eventually to where I'm currently sitting today is a person who's pioneering digital learning, especially with online learning with flip technology. But anyway, so one of the reasons why I did this was for a purely selfish reason, and that was because I wanted to reach kids that didn't have the opportunity that I had, to give them the opportunity to be able to learn in what I call a multimodality model of learning, meaning that you provide them with lots of different avenues of expression. Oh yay, the projector guy, give him a round of applause. And so that they have the opportunity to learn at their best level. So tablets are a tool that has been a part of it, but in education, we're trying to figure out how the heck we're supposed to use it. So our administrators gave us a bunch of these tablets and said, have fun with it, right? Right. And without any proper implementation plans or strategies. So one of the problems with that aspect is the lack of planning. We have all these wonderful toys, and we're trying to figure out what to do and apply it for education. The benefit of that aspect is there's a ton of really wonderful resources online that address that very issue. So I'm saying that yes, the resources out there, and on the top of that, you guys in here with your iPads, your mobile devices, you all are pioneers in a new age. So technically, there is no such thing as an expert. I don't consider myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I just had a lot of experience, a lot of exposure, and a lot of really great ideas, which I'm trying to share with everyone else at the same time. But I'm sure everyone else in this room have their snippets and ideas and things that they want to employ. I preface that because the things I'm going to show are just a few snippets of ideas that I have, but also on top of that, the importance that I want to relay to you is that this session, I've given this session for the past, well, let's say, 3 long years. Gosh, I feel like we're talking about this forever. I'm kidding. Everyone tells me, after that, they love the session and everything like that. But one thing I realize is that, coming to you with education strategies is important, but it's only a secondary level of importance. So I'm going to talk a little bit about apps, and you go to these sessions and say, use this app, use this app, use this app. That's what I call unitaskers, like one-off solutions that may or may not fit you. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change your lifestyle. Not in that sense, but I'm trying to change your lifestyle. And that, right in plain sight, under my nose. Okay. Trying to change your attitudes and understanding of these devices, but to kind of go back to the basics. So these sessions, I think the most valuable part, and I'm going to show you here in just a minute, the 7 levels of tablet knowledge, is that focusing on the basics makes you more proficient users, thereby making you more proficient at employing in your everyday life, thereby then deploy it in your school life. So by making you comfortable with these devices, that's my goal. My goal is to give you tools and tips on how to use these devices more than just a thing to email people with, more than just a device to play Angry Birds with, but something that you can incorporate in your lifestyle. Because if you do that, then you'll be able to find the strategies that you need to be successful in your own classroom, because those resources are out there. So this is a very, so I'm just going to preface this with, this is a primer, very basic information is going to be deployed about these devices. So if you're advanced users, you'll probably get some good information out of it, but this really isn't tailored to the advanced users. This also isn't tailored to people who want to go, this is the one button solution that will make everybody happy in the classroom or in the district or something like that, because that stuff doesn't exist. I've done consultations with schools where they've gone one-to-one, yay, hooray for that, but it all starts with the teacher. The teachers need to be the ones to embrace the technology first, because the students, they're only going to run with it. They're going to run wild with it. But if we're not understanding the technology that we're handing them, then we're not going to be able to control the outcomes, and it's just going to become a major toy for them. So, what was I doing? Sorry. So this seems a little disjointed because I'm trying to accomplish a number of goals at the same time while talking. Multitasking, there we go. And let's see here, got that. So what I'm setting up for you, which I'm going to be showing you later, is a way to implement this device once I get into my presentation. So here. So anyway, so while I'm doing this, I want to, nice kiss there, ask everyone here. Okay, anybody here has gone one-to-one? Raise your hand. What with tablets or any other mobile device? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's great. That's like 5 times more than I've seen in the past, like last year, for example. So it's actually a new initiative. Anybody going to that this next coming school year?
What do you mean?
Like one-to-one meaning that every kid has their own device. Oh, 1 to 2. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anybody here employing BYOD? Good point. All right, so 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's a new movement. I talk a lot about this. It's like it's basically stating that kids, they have all these wonderful devices in their pockets. Why not take advantage of it and use it in the classroom? And I'll tell a little story about that once I get set up here. I apologize for the this. Okay, there we go. Here we are. Who's calling from unknown? Okay, oh, there we go. Oh, there we go, now we're hitting it. Ooh, Netflix. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, look at that. We have success. All right. So this presentation will be done entirely on iPad. And on top of that, I'm not using Keynote as the only way to dispense information. So this isn't going to be slide after slide after slide. This is going to be a very dynamic presentation of I'm going to be using a variety of tools to be able to accomplish what I need to do. And for some reason, why is it not activated? Damn, technology. That's really strange. I don't know why it's not. Okay, now it's. Very weird. Okay. Yeah, Keynote is PowerPoint for the iPad, and I love Keynote because it's an intuitive touch version of PowerPoint where you can do a lot of really cool things with it. And but the problem is it's really expensive. It's $10. Quaking. All right, so let's just launch this one. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling a Keynote in this particular fashion, and let's just go through these few introductory slides. Okay, oops, that's not that. Let's just skip that. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see that. All right. Question 3. Okay. Okay. Let's just skip that. if things were according to plan, you know. Okay. Well, this one's important. Slow down. We're here to share our knowledge. So anybody who's actually had experience with it, you know, feel free to chime in. And I'm going to, if we have time, devote a small portion of time to like other people saying, I use this, I use that. This is great. This is great. Because it's not just about me, you know, spewing out to you guys what I have, but it's also, you know, the collaborative effort. 3 years ago when I started it was very dead silence. Like, so now it's like actually people have got some really great experience on that. Unfortunately, I think I kicked out all the advanced users. So, okay, but the thing is, like, you know, I think the fifth bullet point is that it's really to dispel the myth that, you know, this is more than just an ebook reader, more than just what it is. It's on a phone, it's PC, it's really transformative. I have to put this in here because everyone says, hey, you're an Apple rep. No, I have absolutely nothing to do with Apple. I don't even own Apple stock. I wish I bought it. But my primary role is, like, you know, like I said earlier on, you know, I do advanced technologies in flipped classrooms, developing a learning system that uses Mastery, actually built artificial intelligence in it, that actually knows how to work with formative assessments, using adaptive learning technologies, that uses abundant assessments and item response theory, and yada yada yada. Okay, and the primary means that my business, I guess, is I am in the culinary arts, food science, and family consumer sciences field, where I develop these technologies specifically for that arena. So, okay, so with that, without further ado, let's get to how I this presentation. I think, so. We're going to talk about the 7 levels of tablet knowledge. And we're only going to make it up to a certain level. So the very first important thing is, like, you know, I'm going to talk about level 0, which is the practical. A lot of people wonder what kind of accessories that is important. And so I'm going to really start, you know, down to the bottom basement of talking about this. Then we talk about level 1, the obvious, like, you know, obvious uses that, you know, everyone should know, needs to know on how to use it. You know, quick little tips about, like, you know, to make you more proficient at using it. Then level 2, we're going to talk a little bit about apps. You know, apps that are not what I call unitaskers. Like, there's tons of apps. Like, there's like hundreds of thousands of apps out there, and you could find the one solution that you need. And it's just amazing. Like, you know, you go, oh, I need this type of app to do this. That you search for, you go, oh, here it is. And you read the reviews and you find it. So I'm not going to exhaust our time in displaying that on what I call unitaskers, tools that are designed for one solution, one solution only, or a few solutions. I'm going to really show you some multitasker tools that really help affect a lot of things that you do. Then level 3 is creative, which we're probably not going to be able to get into, but utilizing the apps to create and be able to advance into the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. And so level 4 is like imaginative, which I describe as like you're using these devices and then you reimagine something that's completely transformative in your classroom, and then and it's just like one of those epiphany moments, which dovetails into level 5, the unexpected, and then level 6 where you think you are, right? Everyone's the savvy, the tech savvy people. And then level 7 down there in the bottom says the ludicrous level, which I pulled that from ludicrous speed.
Baseball.
Yeah, I love it. There's always a few people who remember Spaceball. I'm surprised that it's not as prevalent as I thought it would be. So moving ahead, like so the typical Chinese kid born in class, that's me. And I'm just going to kind of go over like why these tablets are so important. Why? Because everyone who's owned it, I hope you've had a transformative experience with it. But I just want to kind of go over a little bit of history, just to kind of say, computing has been around for a long time. That is what I was exposed to when I was a kid. Commodore PET. Anybody remember that? No. Okay, that goes really way back. But basically, like it's really started to imagine like how computing devices can do to transform information and data. Actually, I played around with that and I go, oh, I could type and program on it and I can make numbers go on the screen. It's pretty cool as a kid. I was also a huge Trekkie. So they back in the 60s, Gene Roddenberry imagined a device that people could hold, use a stylus, and get lots of information. So we've been dreaming about this for a long time. In fact, in modern era, with the Star Trek Next Generation, we have an iPad-esque looking device. Yeah. I bet you, like, if Steve Jobs were still alive, he would sue no, but you can see, like, rounded corners, like, nice little tablet. It's pretty amazing. And then, with computers, we were stuck. But then we got introduced to these what we call bricks that last for 10 minutes. But that was the advent of the first mobile computing, which then turned into the Palms. Those were great, but the problem with the Palm is that it's really hard to use, and then it was good for creating contact lists and shopping lists, but a lot of other practical uses just weren't there. Then in 2005, we come into the age of the tablet PC, and that was an amazing thing. Because I'm a huge Trekkie, so I held that thing in the sky and said, "This is Star Trek in my hands," because it actually enabled me to be able to do inputs with touch rather than through a mouse and a keyboard. But the problem was that the system was running on an antiquated operating system called Windows XP. So it didn't work out very well. Anyway, let's move forward to where really the advent of mobile computing happened with the iPhone and then the iPad and then other tablets moving forward. So what I want you to realize is that we've been dreaming about this for a long time, and now it's here. And I want you to think of this as like the Swiss Army knife of endless possibilities. Because there's so many things you could do with this one device. You could use it to create a recording studio. You could use it to run a rock band. You could use it to do like video editing. I mean, it's just incredible. And it's all portable. It's all handheld, and you could do it virtually anywhere. And the possibilities are limitless with engaging kids on these devices. I want to talk a little about the standard model of technology. So basically, what I want to do is I want to take you guys to the A level and maybe into the M model. But basically, standard just simply means the first level of tech is that you're using it as a direct substitution of doing something else, such as I'm going to use it to do flashcards, or I'm going to use it as a memorization tool. Things that you're doing, but you're just kind of substituting it. That's a good stage. So you start out there, you start substituting it. Then you move on to the augmentation stage, which talks about tech as a direct tool of substitution with functional improvement. So you're actually improving that aspect. So, like for instance, if you're looking at flashcards on these mobile devices, then you go to the augmentation because now you're able to search for it. You can search an index card, and you're able to do more things with that. Then we go to modification level, which allows you for significant task redesign. So now you're actually redesigning your processes of education and learning with the technology. And then that's really where like level 3 and level 4 happens on the previous scale. And then redefinition, which allows for the creation of new tasks previously inconceivable. So remember the level 5 and 6. So this is actually an established model for tech integration. The other one was something that I completely made up on my own, but it's actually it really follows the same order of thought of of how you're trying to adapt and adopt this information. So moving forward, we're going to go to level 0, the practical. I'm going to talk a little bit about accessories and things that will help you make things life a lot easier. So the very first thing is the bag. A lot of people spend a lot of money on the iPad bag, but simply it's just a sleeve with something in it. So I have my iPad bag right here, which I keep at my side at all times. And what it allows me to do is it allows me to quickly access the iPad at any time that I need. So if I need it, I can just whip it out. So I go, okay, and so I need to look something up, just like how you would whip out your smartphone. You want to make it so it's easily accessible. So this actually is really cheap. It's like only $20 or something like that. Originally, I've had this for 10 years. It's called a European Travel Satchel. And it does very things. So now I walk around and go, hey, look, here's my iPhone. I found this in Taiwan, and so anyway, these are fun too. So pick them up for 20 bucks. But the bag is important because you want to make it quick and easy accessible. You want to bury it, and enough about that. The stand is also very important too. Because with the stand, you want to hold your iPad up. There's lots of different stands out there, and they're so expensive. Why are they so expensive? So does anybody recognize what this is?
Book holder. Plate holder. Plate holder.
It's a picture frame holder or a plate holder. $2.99, Joanne Fabrics. Really? No, actually, they're the only ones who sell. Michael's doesn't sell. But yeah, it's compact, it's compatible. You can put it in your travel bag, or I can throw it at somebody, or I can come over here and break it and not be concerned about the cost of it. Okay, I only broke it because it was already previously broken. I sat on it, but anyway, they're cheap. They're very nice, so you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you can adjust the angle, and it's really great on flights. I'm just only showing you this because it doesn't have to be official. Tablet ready. I mean, you can use this with anything. An Android tablet even. Whatnot. Okay, so the next important thing is the keyboard. Now, I like my keyboard separated, mainly because I don't need it all the time. The tablet is designed to be a tool to be touched and not really required. But you do have the need for this on occasion, such as composing really long emails. Or writing a novel on these things. So I do carry it, but the thing is, the beauty about this is it's got such a low profile. I can easily stick it in. Well, actually, I can even stick it in here and travel with it to some extent. But the keyboard is very good. People who buy them permanently attached, I mean, they're great. But really, the usefulness of that is that it's separated, so you're only using this for what you need to do with it and play Angry Birds. Now, the next important thing is these things, camera connection kits. Anybody here have one of these in their devices? Okay, great. Now, for those of you who don't have it, basically what it means is that you can take a picture with a regular old non-cell phone camera. So everyone smile over there. And everyone smile over here. Smile, there we go. All right, great, no flash on that side. Okay, unless you use the projector. And then you could go ahead and take one of those things, and interface with the iPad. So here's my little camera connection kit. So I pop this out, do that, pop it in, come over here, connect it, and see that. Oops, no. So I connect it, and then I'm actually able to import pictures from a digital camera into this device. So here we go. There's Walter Koenig and Nichelle Nichols. You guys remember the original Star Trek crew? I was at a Comic-Con. So. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's me with Ray McNulty and here's the clapping now. So I'm going to import those, selected, and there's my cat. And there's coloring arts and skills USA. All right, so I'm going to select keep, and then after that's done, okay, there we go. So I just imported those 3 pictures. Hey, look. Yeah, so now I have it in here, and then I just imported media. So it's a really great tool if you have a standard camera, and these things are relatively cheap. I think they're 20 bucks. Remember, I'm not an Apple rep, but I'm just saying that these are, so here we go. And that. So let's go back to the, oops. Yeah, they come in 2 flavors. One is for the standard SD card, and the other one is with the USB interface, which actually allows you to put an SD regular thumb drive in there as well.
And what is that called?
Camera connection kit.
30 bucks.
30 bucks, yeah. All right, so here's some. The next one is very good. It's the VGA connector kit. So how do you interface with your device with a projector like this? Well, one way is to do it with this. So it comes in both HDMI and VGA, so depending on what projector you have. And you plug it into the cable, and you're able to project like this. Now, obviously, as you can see, I am not projecting, I'm not connected by a cable, because I'm actually using a really nifty device that only became available about a year ago. So that device, which I'm going to use a level 2 gap with, is I'm going to show you here. I'm using hey everyone, wait much. For some reason it's not. Oh, there we go. I have to catch up. Okay, so I'm using the camera app as a kind of like what we call a document scanner. There we go. Yeah. Move away. So in essence, I'm using it as a way to kind of display this device. This is what we call an Apple TV. And that's what you saw earlier when I was interfacing. Now the Apple TV is designed to be a media sharing device. So like you saw Netflix, you can watch TV with it. But the secondary purpose of this is so that you can interface your iPad with it if you're running iPad 2 iOS 5 or higher. So if you have an iPad 1, you won't be able to do wireless like this.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, they do it now?
An iPad 1 will work wireless to an Apple TV for music and certain videos.
Yeah, only certain. No, I'm talking about more like
Oh,
mirroring. Yeah.
no, yeah, but it will work for certain items.
Yeah. To do something like this, you can't do that with an
Right.
iPad
Well,
1.
yeah, it does
Very
have a
good
camera.
distinction.
iPad 1 does have a camera.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So-
Anyway, so what you're saying here, so this is Apple TV, but the reason why this works is before the Apple TV, it has an HDMI interface, which is down here, which I'll show you. HDMI interface. There you go. That's an HDMI interface. And before, that's why Apple TV has been around for a while, but it wasn't really practical because to interface from the HDMI to a VGA would normally cost a couple $100. But then this device came out, which I'll email you the details. It's called ATV Pro. And what it is it's a cheap $60 interface that converts the HDMI to VGA so that you could do this. So now before I wasn't going to pay $200 for and it's the non-powered too, so you don't have to power it to make it work. So that's a really great advantage, and that way you can go wireless. You can right now I'm working off of my personal hotspot, so I'm getting like some motion glitches because I'm doing way too much. But if you're in a regular Wi-Fi situation, then you would be able to take advantage of that and use it very well. There's also another screen mirroring app called, oh gosh, I can't remember it right now. Oh, Apple TV is $100. But that interface with the PC.
But now, don't you have to have a special projector or something? Because I've tried to get that in my classroom, and they said that it wasn't compatible.
You need that secondary
need
box
the
to convert it
secondary,
to a VGA. Then it will work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just the Apple TV?
Yeah, just an Apple TV,
Okay, and it's $100, and then what about the other little?
$60.
Okay.
Last I checked when I purchased it a year ago.
30 on Amazon.
Oh, is it up 30 now?
30 on Amazon.
Sweet.
Amazon
You bought it on Amazon for $30?
No, it was 90. I got it for 30.
Oh, the interface or the Apple TV?
No, the interface. The
Yeah,
Apple TV
yeah,
was
Apple TV is about $100. Sometimes you can get it for $90. You can buy older ones, it's fine. You don't have to buy the newer one, and I know that they discount the older ones.
What's the interface thing?
It's called an ATV Pro. ATV Pro. By Canex. K-A-N-E-X.
Did you say VGA or ATV?
The product name is called ATV
Okay.
Pro.
What was the screen mirroring app? Were you trying to remember it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm flummoxed at the moment, and I can't remember that because of, okay.
What's the thing with the
You can email
USB port? USB port on it. If I had.
Oh, you mean this thing right here? This is the camera connection kit.
It had a double.
Oh, this one? Oh, that double. This is actually the HDMI interface cable. So if I wanted to plug it into a HD television, then I would plug this in, and I would plug this in. You know, if I didn't have this, to go wireless. There are certain advantages to go wired in because sometimes you might not be as quick in response, and then you'll be able to use it. Yes.
What I did without the Apple TV to show what was on my iPad on the projector at school is they made my desktop wireless, and you can get the little plug-in, USB plug-in for $40 at Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
And then I used Airstream we downloaded that on my computer, which was another 10, so we did it for 50, and I just used Airstream to show what's on my iPad through my computer, my desktop, on my projector. So,
Okay.
because my school wasn't willing to buy the Apple TV.
All right, so you were going from your iPad to your computer, then to use the projector.
Yes.
That's a roundabout way of doing it.
Have you ever used Reflector?
Reflector,
There
that's
you
it.
go. Yeah,
I was like-
$14.99 made by a company out of Canton, Ohio, actually.
Yeah.
It's a good product.
It's a great product. Reflector is the one I was referencing.
Okay, I thought maybe that was
So that's a really great app, and that's another way to do it through the PC without buying these special hardware devices. So I'm showing you this as this is one viable option. Reflector is the other one that's basically recently came out about 6 months ago or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very.
It's made by you'll like this. It's made actually by a couple of guys and a girl. It's a really young company. They're all almost under 30.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Young, small company. God love young and small companies. Yeah. Anyway, so move forward. All right, so here's some so that's the device. That's level 0. That's what I wanted to show you on the practical side of things. I mean, there's other things like personal battery rechargers. There's plenty on the market. But those few things that I showed you, that's like some really great essential tools that will help make it a much better accessory, especially with your what I call man bag. Okay, so the other stuff I'm going to show you is some really quick tips that everyone should know and really needs to understand. So, very first thing is, okay, I'm going to open up an app. Let's open up Foursquare. So I'm in an app right now, and sideways. Let's say I want to close it. So one way to close it is by hitting the home button. Okay, that's obvious. We already all know that. So let's try it the other way. Let's go ahead and squeeze it out of existence. Okay, so pretty cool. Now, how many of you here knew how to do that? All right, cool. I got more people. So I'm just saying, in the past, there's not many people. So if you want to try it out, yeah, you're in an app and you just basically take 5 fingers and go squeeze it. Now, if it doesn't work, you need to go check your settings. Down to here, you see multitasking gestures down there at the bottom, right? So you have to make sure that that's turned on. By default, it is turned on, but if it's not, then obviously that's going to happen. So here we go. Let's close that out.
Wait, where were you? Multitasking?
Yeah. So settings general.
Okay.
And then you scroll down to multitasking gestures.
Why did I show that?
Remember, this is a very basic. But the thing is, if you know how to do these things, you can do so much more with these devices.
Oh, you have it? Why doesn't it have that?
You might need to update your iOS too. So
Yeah.
older ones might not have it. If you don't have it, you might not have it. So so another thing. Okay, so I'm going to open up a few apps here. Let's go ahead and do YouTube, Mail, and Safari. Okay, so I just opened up, and you can see my wireless is being overwhelmed now. So I have a very solid connection. Okay, so when you're in the app, another thing you do when you are viewing the app is that if you want to open up the taskbar, normally you would double click on the home button, which will pop up the taskbar, but you can use your same 5 fingers and go pop it up. There you go. So we're trying to go buttonless in a way. So that now you can actually access the task switcher, which then you can see the games I'm playing, and the various apps that I've ran in the past. And if you scroll over to just the other side, that's when you can get to the volume controls and the brightness setting, which this doesn't do anything for you guys, but and you can access your play and pause button that way too. So that's how you get to your task switcher. All right, so let's close out the task switcher. Just like before, 5 fingers. If I want to move to the next app, I swipe to the right. There we go. See that? I do that again. I swipe to the next one. There we go. And there's the site that I created, and so on and so forth. So you can move back and forward just by using your hand gestures. So, really jerky. Because I'm also not sitting on top of that. Okay. So was that really useful? Was that a useful tip? Cool. I mean, oh cool. My wool is ready to be collected. Yeah. It's better than Angry Birds, but anyway. Nah, that's not better than that. So that's some really quick tips. Now another one that's really useful, which I use all the time, and it's like a hidden little gem, is let's say you're typing, you're like you know that autocorrect automatically figures out what you're trying to type. The best thing to do is to type, if you're a touch typist, type on the keyboard without looking at it. It actually knows what you're trying to hit, which is amazing. So if you're looking at it, you're trying to get the right thing, try doing it without looking at it. You'll get most of it correctly, most of the time, which is amazing because I can actually type that about 80 words per minute on the touch interface, just by not looking at it. And then you look at it and go, oh, correct that. But it's better than trying to hit it because it uses prediction into it. But that's not what I was trying to point out. So I'm typing here, and then if I want to make the next letter capitalized, I would hit the Shift key and then do capital O, right? That's how you do that. But
keep it capitalized.
Oh, if you want to keep it capitalized, double tap and it's caps lock. Right. Oh, that's another good basic tip that I always skip over. But the other one that's really unknown, and if any of you know this, raise your hand because I'd like to know, is let's say I want to do a capital O. Okay, so instead of doing the tap and then get to the O, I'm going to hit the Shift key and just drag my finger over to the O. There. Oh, I see something. Yeah, you know it. All right, you're awesome. You're level 3. Rocket. No, yeah. So I saw some jaws drop. Oh, yeah. So you have a question mark. So there we go. So I use that with question marks a lot. So I'm typing in and go question mark. So I just go like that, or exclamation point. And then,
are you going to show them how to get to a number and then go automatically back to the ABCs?
Well, I mean, just hitting the space bar does it. Do you know the better way?
Well, I was talking about where let's say I'm typing my name and then I'm on go back to the other bar. Go back to where what you do. 1, 2, 3. Slide your finger to the number. What is it?
Oh yeah. Same principle goes to that. Yeah, right. Exactly. Good point. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. So there's a lot of really cool gestures. So you go, oh, I want to do number 5, 6. And in addition to that, if you want to get to a special character, let's say you want to use that quote key under here. You can hit that by you can hold your finger down on special some key, or you can get to special character that way. Nothing under honor.
Very cool.
So there's a lot of these like built-in hidden gems that basically will make your life a lot easier without having to go, okay, now I have to go here and hit the quote button and then exclamation point and then I have to go to the next thing. And, so there's a lot of these like little hidden gems that help you be a little more efficient, a little bit more faster.
You use the one with the symbol.
So to get to like certain things, just hold your finger down on certain keys, and alternates will come up. Like, so this is the alternate for question mark, which is the quote. And then this is the alternate for the exclamation point, which is the apostrophe.
Did you do the cat?
Am I hearing murmurings of people not? No. So, pretty cool tip? Yeah, awesome. All right, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything that I would teach you, it won't be effective unless if you yourself will become proficient users of these devices. So it's important to know that you can do these really cool, awesome little things that help you out. So that's the keyboard shortcut. There you go. One of the most useful, practical level 1 tools that are on.
I think it was in the book.
Oh, this? Oh, yeah.
Somebody has my
Oh, yeah.
I know. Your notebook, right?
Yeah, if you have the iPhone, iPad 3 or higher, you have Siri. So Siri's only on iPad 3 or higher. Alright, so the world basically means that you've added a secondary keyboard, and one of the secondary keyboards I added is emoticons. No, it's built up here. Here, I'll show you how to get to it. Now everyone's going to use their emoticons. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. It's not 100% compatible, but it's fun. So you go over here and you see the keyboard option right there on the bottom stack. So I'm hitting it. There we go. You see it highlighted. Okay. Now, here's some various options you don't really need to know about. But down here, you have up there you see keyboards. Oops, there we go. Wow, hit it. There we go. Okay, so right now I have English and emoji, which is one which you have those really easy characters. Why not? So all you have to do is just hit add new keyboard, and you have a lot of choices.
Is there a way to get to the keyboard for?
No, unfortunately, there's no direct interface. You have to hit that special button.
Which one is
that?
that?
How are you gonna type the world or a plane or the money going here no evil, which one?
Yeah, so emoji gives you the option.
So yeah, there's really no point you have. So everyone found that? Good? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, they're just like a lot of these little hidden gems that will make your experience a lot better than just using it to take notes and send emails and play Angry Birds. Okay, so that's the emoticon icons. So now I've completely lost the class. And
I know, I didn't know that.
Pizza.
I've always been afraid that that's what I'm afraid of the best thing.
Okay, so yeah, anyway. Sushi. Okay, so that's why the world icon is down there done. Thanks for pointing it out. I would have never thought to talk about that at all. Okay, so far, has everything been very valuable to you?
Yes.
What time do I have to end on? I have 15 more minutes. Oh, crap. My shield's about to run out. Okay. Anyway, everyone knows how to get to their notification bar by swiping down, right? All right, good. Well, I didn't have to go over that one. And actually, that's pretty much like some really great useful tips to be able to be more effective at using these devices. Another one that's really useful is this one here. You know how when you switch this, it goes to mute, right? So you go mute. Oh wait, that doesn't look like the mute symbol. I find the mute symbol, the mute thing, to be really impractical. Who's going to call you on your iPad? It's really useful on your iPhone. You go mute, and then you go, okay, I don't want to take any calls. But rarely does anyone, anything chime on that. So I have it on lock rotation. So therefore, if I'm doing this or doing lots of crazy things with it, oops, and that's not, you're not supposed to see that. That's a jailbreak. But anyway, so if you're doing lots of crazy things with it, it's not rotating. So now I can go and switch it on and rotate it, and there we go, and I switch it off. So it's really, so I find rotation to be so much more useful than that. To change that setting, you go to the settings, you go back to general, so I had to go back to general. Okay, go back to general. All right, so you see that here, this icon, normally you default to mute, but you want to choose lock rotation. That's how you can make that button lock the rotation instead of mute. Very useful function because how many times are you doing like, oh, come on, stop doing that, type of situation, which happens quite a bit, especially when you're like, talking and gesturing and, and accidentally throwing your iPad across the room. Okay. All right, so on to some really great practical apps that you want to possibly use. So one of them that I already showed you is using the camera app as a kind of like a document camera. So it's a really great way to kind of show off and do things like and show the class. Another good app is like that costs money. Most of the things I'm going to show you is free, but Pages is the Apple's default Word processor, and it's $10. And the reason it's better is because it's really designed for tablets. So there is a Microsoft Office version, but it's not as intuitive, and it's just you can do a lot more with Pages. So the Apple created products are actually really good. They're $10, so that's expensive on the app front. But then again, you think $10, like wow, that's a couple Starbucks right there. Right? Oh, and that you can also have education discounts as well. So your Apple, your school should have an Apple like rep or something that you interface with on the education side of things, where they give discounts up to like 90% on app purchases across. Like let's say you want to get 30, you don't pay 30 times 10, you pay 30 times 90% off of that.
Our first school doesn't have that. How do we contact someone?
Well, you need to contact Apple for an educational representative to be able to sign up. You need to sign up your school as a. So they go through some verification and qualification steps to be able to do that. Okay, so that's the. So those two are very good. Keynote was what we saw earlier. Really great PowerPoint presenter tool, and very easy to compose PowerPoints on it as well. I really like that a lot. Yes?
Does Google Docs presentation work as easily on the tablet, or?
It works as a presentation tool, but not as a building tool. So you can't use it
like
as,
if you made it somewhere else, it'd be easy to show it.
yeah,
on
you can show. So
Okay.
so I could come over here and let's see here. Yeah, let's see here if I have any presentations.
And you have the app. There's a Google Drive app.
This is the Google Drive app that I'm
Okay.
interfacing with right now. So let's see here. Where is one of my presentations? Oh, cool. Let's go to level 3. So here's the
Okay.
Google presentation that I created online.
So it's pretty. I mean, it works well.
Yeah, it works really well. And that's a good segue into that's a really great app to install. So you can utilize your Google Docs. Dropbox is another really great one if you use Dropbox. So it's similar to Google Docs. It's a place where you can store documents and files in the cloud. Oops, I'm not signed in. Sorry. But
I got a question.
yes.
Isn't that over redundant? If you have a cloud account anyway, we just never get stored on there without a cloud.
Well, yeah, and actually Dropbox itself, is just another tool that's out there. The only reason Dropbox is good is because then, you can actually create Dropbox folders where your students can upload into that account, and it's a good way to store files. Google Drive does it slightly differently, and actually Google Drive, which is what used to be called Google Docs, has improved significantly in the past year. So it's actually almost replaced Google. Yeah, Google Dropbox. So I actually don't use Dropbox that much anymore, but it was a really good tool back then. Back when it was one of the only ones that was there.
What did you say instead of Dropbox? What did you use?
Oh, Google Drive. So Google Drive gives you 5 gigabytes for free, and you can throw virtually anything. So you can actually throw some really great stuff in, and they have really good sharing capabilities. So if a student has a Google account and they have a file, they can share it to you, which will then appear in your Drive account without counting against your quota, which is, Dropbox has that quota thing where if somebody shares their stuff, then it's like, oh great, now I can't upload anything because somebody just shared a 5 a gigabyte file or something like that.
Just a suggestion, our English teachers use Google Drive for like their papers. So if a student's writing a paper, you never have to have a paper copy. They can send it to you. You can do their editing like in Red, so they can see the different like drafts. It records them all separately.
Yeah. For those of you who have not gone over to the Google Docs suite, highly recommend it. In fact, I could devote an entire session just on how to use those tools and really use it with your students. But in its essence, it's just a document in the cloud. So instead of transporting files, you just go online, you log in, you just work with the document, and when you're done, it's automatically saved. It retains every single change history of the life of the document, so you can always go back in time to any stage of that document. And it's always up to date. So when you go to it, you know that you're not working with an old version. And when someone else logs into it at the same time, you can actually see their edits live. So it's actually kind of like a preview, like you're typing and then someone else is typing and you see what changes happen. So Google has a suite of products. They have docs, spreadsheets, presentations. They also allow you to do images and now media. So you can actually upload videos onto your Drive account and use the power of YouTube. So it's not really YouTube, it's actually your own private video server, which actually bypasses the YouTube restrictions in the classroom. So if you're able to get that file from YouTube, which there are ways to do that, which you'll have to ask a kid on how to do that, but they know how to do it. You get that file, you upload it to your own Drive account, which is a private account, then you could watch online videos, stream it, and have other people watch it as well by sharing it. And the reason why it's awesome, because YouTube spends like millions of dollars optimizing the video technology. So they know how to get it to you quickly and efficiently. So so they've got the technology, use their technology backbone. Okay, so we have about 8 more minutes. I'm going to go through a few more really cool apps here that's really useful and very essential. This one here is called Speed Test. Now, anybody have a speed test app on their iPad or iPhone or anything like that? No, it's essential. The reason why is because you walk into a networking environment, you're in a classroom, or you're in a foreign classroom, or not foreign as in foreign, you're in a classroom that's not your own, or you're in a hotel, you go, I need to know what the network infrastructure is like. So instead of just guessing, like before I came to this room, I came in here and I did this, to kind of find out what my capacity was to do things. So I just ran the speed test, so now I'm going to be able to find out how much I can do online if I'm able to stream full videos, if I'm able to just download documents or emails. So this will tell me in megabits how much capacity I have. Now, according to this, I'm at about 3 megabit, which is actually very good speed for broadband, for basic broadband. The typical home internet is about 9 gigabytes. This typical school infrastructure is around 2 to 3. The average hotel can range anywhere between 1 megabyte, which is on the good side, down to 1.1, which is like really slow speeds. Like it's like so here, so I know that I have a capacity to download to do 3.37 megabits with 89 up. So very important tool. It's free, and the really cool thing is that if you drag on it, you see a little a cat. So. Come on. Oh no, no more cat. Nothing yet. Okay, well anyway, I'll only see more time on it. So speed test is a very good and important one, which then dovetails into this next app, which is a $5 app called Air Video. Now what Air Video does is it allows me to be able to access my hard drive on any computer I have the Air Video app installed on, and then I can actually play videos from remotely. So this is a great way to kind of like go, okay, I have this video on my hard drive, and I'm not able to upload it on the cloud, or I don't want to upload it to the cloud, then I come over here and I can play this video that I have. So switching over to the video player mode, and then second here, then we'll see, this is called the bone-in pork chop pastel video. So, yay!
Is your culinary?
Yes. Yeah. So this is just one of the videos, and then so you can have access to certain folders on your computer. It's actually being streamed live. This is actually going through the internet to my home computer, and you can set the different quality settings. So right now I've got pretty decent quality. It's not the best, but
Do you guys have your computer left on?
yes, you have to have your computer left on and connected to the internet, which a lot of people do nowadays. So, but the thing is, like if you're at school, then you're just connecting to your school computer and playing through the iPad too. And And that's a local infrastructure which will work out really well. All right, so.
Do you have to have attachments to do that, or it does it through Wi-Fi?
It does it through Wi-Fi. So so with that app, you download an app on your PC, and then it creates a connection between the two devices.
Sometimes you have to put the iPad up to the screen, and it reads it, and then you're connected with your computer at school. I've done that.
Oh, you've done that?
Educreations or something like that.
Yeah.
I've actually gone around. I can take roll, I can draw, I can do whatever I want in the classroom. And actually, I thought that one was free. I thought, but you can just hold it up to the screen, and it recognizes it, and then it connects you.
Oh, really?
Instead of having it into a USB port,
yeah.
you don't have to
Is
do
that
that.
is that a different app that you're talking about?
Yes, yeah, she's got it right here. Yeah, I've done that.
Can you say that again? Entry?
Yeah.
Doceri.
Doceri.
Oh,
Doceri.
Yeah.
Oh,
DLC.
Yeah.
DLC.
I believe that was free, wasn't
That's a
it?
new
That
one
was
for me.
free.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
free.
free.
So serious. I'm gonna write that down. Actually,
DOCERI.
So we have about 5 minutes left, and I apologize for the time. I mean, about 15 minutes of it was destroyed in the beginning. But
Section 2 tomorrow.
yeah, section 2 tomorrow. Yes.
With the Doceri, I love it. I use it all the time. But you can control your desktop from Doceri, and you can show what's in the Doceri app, but you can't get into another app and have it show. So they have whiteboards or chalkboards that you can write on, and it's great. But you can't have the other app open on your iPad and show that on your computer.
Yeah, that's a good point. So remember, there's a million wonderful tools out there. The Swiss Army knife. All you have to do is just search.
That's nice too.
And I wasn't aware of this one. That's because there's so many I can't pay attention to all of them. So I'm just gonna go through and bam through the next 3 minutes. Highlight some really great apps that are really useful. If anybody hasn't used this yet, we have over here Educreations, which is that white one down there. It's a great way to record and have students demonstrate a certain level of understanding of certain problems. So they draw on it, it's recording it live, so you can watch it back later.
What's the name of that one?
It's called Educreations.
One of the great things about that one is you can email it, and if the kid is absent, you can do it that way. Also, I do grammar lessons, and sometimes other teachers have asked me for it, and you can email it to them.
Yes, exactly.
Or you can do it at home and email it to
So basically they're just recording, they're saying, I know how to do 2 + 2 = 4 because I just drew it out and demonstrated it right on the iPad, and we can do a lot of things. Now another one I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you, but I'm just going to tell you about it, is called Explain Everything. Now as a student, let them use Education. It's free. It's great for that. Explain Everything is a $5 app, so 1 cup of coffee. But it's about 10 times more powerful and versatile than Educreations. Highly recommended. You can create some really amazing. Explain Everything.
What do you think of Edmodo?
Edmodo? Yeah, Edmodo is a great social networking tool to be able to get the students connected. But it has its limitations, but it's good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, actually, I can speak to that link. Actually, if you guys want to watch my flipped classroom session this morning, I recorded it, so I'll send that link over to you guys too. All right. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Dang, I'm sorry. God. I recorded the flipped classroom session. Well, anyway, so, gosh, I wish we had more time together. Thank you so much for you guys are more proficient at it, better at it, and you become multitasking.
Thank you. Ooh, baby. Next time they need to put around in a big room.
Man, he needs to be in a bigger room, man.
You were saying 3 to the other. So we got an hour.
Hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, 3 o'clock we'll be in the other room for having a seat.
That is right.
That's cool.